Depancel is a French watch company. In fact, I reviewed one of their watches a while ago and it was a pretty cool chronograph. This time we're looking at this integrated bracelet calendar watch with somewhat of a GMT functionality and a bit of a chronograph layout. It's a very interesting watch to say the least. My name is Oleg and that right there is Mr. Bond. Now let's talk about the case and the dimensions of this timepiece. The case is made out of 316L stainless steel. It features a 39mm diameter, 44mm lug-to-lug distance. It has about a 22mm opening, although that doesn't really matter since it does feature that integrated strap design, and it's about 13.4mm in case height. The finishes on the watch are pretty good. It's majority of a satin finish with a few high polish highlights, like this sort of chamfered edges on the lugs, as well as this plate finished in high polish at the 9 o'clock position. The plate is the signature of Depancel watches. It just says the name of this specific model, kind of harkening back to some of the vintage timepieces. In fact, the overall look of this watch is very 1970s inspired. They're talking about cigarette boats and boat racing as the big inspiration behind the design of this watch. I can definitely see the sort of sporty, chic, almost like style for this timepiece, although it does have quite a few different elements sort of competing with each other, because the layout on the dial is a traditional chronograph, but this is not a chronograph. This is in fact a calendar watch. So that's kind of strange. It is also supposed to be sort of a racing watch, but it doesn't really have too many racing elements. Again, it's a calendar. So those two things kind of compete with each other. At the same time, it is very unique. It is very unlike anything else. If you were looking for a calendar with this integrated rubber strap design, then you have your answer right here. Now, in terms of the bezel, it is a bidirectional 60-click bezel action. The action is actually really satisfying. It's very nice and smooth. And this watch does feature an aluminum bezel insert. It's not ceramic, which is a bit of a negative. At the price point around $850, that's how much this watch costs. I think majority of people would expect a ceramic bezel insert, especially from a microbrand watch. There are two different versions of this watch available, the Coke bezel or this blue bezel. I prefer the blue one. I think this looks a lot more unique. There are a couple of other interesting design elements on this watch. First of all, the crown is located at the 3 o'clock position, which is not that interesting in itself. However, the crown does have this unique shape, which makes it a little bit harder to operate than a traditional crown, but it's not that hard to operate. You actually get used to it pretty quickly. It is a signed crown with the Depancel logo, and it also features this orange highlight that perfectly matches the orange on the seconds hand. There's also a pusher at the 2 o'clock position. That's the pusher to operate the month complication on the dial. So it does have a separate pusher. And lastly, this watch does feature a display caseback displaying the Miyota movement, which we're going to talk about in a minute here or so. The caseback is secured using these 4 screws, and the watch comes with 100 meters of water resistance. Next, let's talk about the dial. I think it looks very attractive. You have a date window at the 6 o'clock position. You also have the 2 sub-registers, one at 9, one at 3. The one at 9 tells you days of the week. The one at 3 tells you what month it is. There's a logo by the 12 o'clock position, and there's also some writing closer to the 6 o'clock position, motoring instrument and automatic. Again, this motoring instrument, the sort of racing motif that they're going for in a calendar watch, to me, doesn't really work, if I'm being honest. It kind of has 2 different styles and they can't really decide which way they want to go. This is a calendar. It's not really sort of a racing watch, but it does kind of have the racing theme. So it is very hard to pinpoint exactly what this watch is. The indexes on the dial are applied and they're loomed. Here's a loom shot for you. It's not too bad, but it's not fantastic. It's just pretty good, I'd say. And lastly, a couple of small details that I really appreciate about the design of this watch. Number one, at the 12 o'clock position, you have the marker / logo for the Depancel. I think that's a very clever integration of the logo. The other thing that I really appreciate are these small rings around the sunken registers. I think that elevates sort of the quality and the style of this watch. You can choose to have this watch on the stainless steel bracelet or on the integrated rubber strap. Clearly the one I have in front of us is on the rubber strap. Overall, the way this strap integrates into the case is really good. It has this design that carries through the strap and makes it look very seamless. There are also quick release pins on the strap, so if you choose to buy both the stainless steel bracelet and the strap, you can easily swap between the two. The rubber strap features pretty simple hardware, just a tang buckle. In terms of the quality of the strap, I think it's really good. It feels nice and soft, yet it feels solid, because the watch head on these integrated bracelet watches, integrated strap watches, can be a bit on the heavier side as opposed to the rubber strap. So having that good balance between the strap and the watch head is very important, and I think here they kind of achieved that pretty well. Actually, let's talk about how it fits on the wrist. I think on my 7¼ inch wrist, it fits right at home. And even if you have a smaller size wrist, it will still look really good. For whatever reason, on photos and on some videos, the watch looks a little bit too chunky, but in person, it actually wears quite well. 13.5mm case height is not overly thick. And I think on this watch, it actually works fairly well. If you have a bit of a smaller wrist, I think you should be able to wear this watch pretty comfortably still. It's kind of difficult to find a watch with the integrated rubber strap or integrated bracelet that fits smaller wrists, because just by the nature of the design, they kind of flare out. Happy to say this one here should fit people with smaller wrists just fine. And in terms of the movement powering this watch is the Miyota 9 series movement, the caliber 9022 to be exact. It's a calendar movement with 24 joules that beats at 4 Hz, and it comes with approximately 40 hours of power reserve. There is some rotor noise, as is common with Miyota 9 series movements. Have a listen. So you can definitely hear it and feel it. I'd say it's somewhere in the mid-range out of the watches that I tested. Some watch cases have very good dampening, so you pretty much don't hear that rotor noise. Some have very poor, and you really feel and hear the rotor noise. As I said, this one here is somewhere in the middle. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid offering in terms of the quality, in terms of the design. However, it is also a very unique and specific watch. It's a watch for someone who's looking for that 1970s, 1980s styling, but who's also looking for a calendar, and who's also looking for sort of a racing watch, and also wants to have this sort of chronograph almost like layout on a dial. Then yeah, you have your answer. If you're in this specific camp of people, then this watch is for you. Also, if you're just looking for a kind of solid everyday timepiece that has a day, date, and a month, and if you like the design of this one, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the quality. $850 I think is fair for this timepiece. Could it be a little cheaper? Yeah, maybe like $100 less, but I don't think they're really charging all that much for the sort of package that you get. And in terms of going between the stainless steel bracelet or the rubber strap, usually I like to review watches on the stainless steel bracelets, but with this model here, I don't feel like I'm missing out all that much. So I actually would probably order it on the rubber strap. And that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Depancel driver calendar. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you picking one up? Do you have one in your collection? Leave your thoughts below. I always enjoy reading them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.